The footprints. The thick, suffocating air of Sertal pressed against Darius like a blazing hot veil, laced with the stench of burnt electronics, sulfur, and the ash of things he didn't want to speculate about. The sky above had shifted to a scorched yellow, the light bleeding through the toxic atmosphere as if filtered through hundreds of layers of grimy glass. Every breath through the filtration mask stabbed at his lungs, but it was still a breath. A luxury no one else from the Arc-12 had anymore. He stepped out of the shattered hull, the emptiness inside him, scraping raw. Darius stopped, narrowing his eyes behind the polarizing visor. In the distance, the cracked ground simmered, red mud bubbled softly, occasionally shooting up a column of sulfurous steam. This world felt like a living organism, panting under the weight of its own existence. He opened the handheld map. The screen flickered chaotically as if the radiation storm refused to let the device function. 2 coordinates had been saved right before the crash. The anomalous energy source within the Obrex forest, the sinkhole Elaine once called the planet's throat. Darius cast a look at the wreckage behind him. No one was intact enough to even be called a person. He didn't let himself linger. Grief saved no one. Grief kept no one alive. He shoved it aside the same way a soldier had done countless times across past campaigns. A sound came from the right, not loud, but wrong, not wind, not boiling mud. Darius slowly turned, his hand drifting toward the plasmatic sidearm at his hip. He waited, filtering the noise from the constant vibration of the planet. Then he saw them, deep indentations in the red dust, leading away from the wreck. Footprints almost 1.5 times the size of a human's with an uneven foot structure, claws driven sharply into the ground. He crouched. Too fresh, he murmured through the mask. It had passed through here, less than 10 minutes ago. And something worse, the trail stopped right at the shadow of the wreck's plating, as if the creature had stood there silently, patiently observing, before leaving. Not an animal. Darius had tracked hundreds of creatures before. These weren't accidental. They were deliberate. He looked up, the sky had darkened another shade, signaling that Cycle 4 was approaching, the time when the planet would heat up by several more degrees. If he didn't find shelter before nightfall, his suit would melt slowly like wax. Darius followed the footprints, not from curiosity, but because they were the only direction left to follow. He had no other choice, no mission left except to survive until morning. He moved between towering black stone pillars, each nearly 10 meters tall, their surfaces smooth like polished liquid glass. Some bore long, fresh gashes, as if sliced with a blade. The footprints shifted direction. From the flat plain, they led to a narrow rock fissure. There, Darius saw the stone wall had been split in a straight line, too precise, too clean, impossible to be natural. A high-energy cut. His senses tightened. The air itself felt heavier. Then he saw it. A small object, bronze black, lying beneath a rocky ledge as if dropped accidentally. Darius picked it up and immediately knew it was unlike anything humanity had ever produced. A curved metal piece etched with strange symbols, cold with a material he couldn't identify. Darkened blood stained the surface, not human. He remembered classified military reports, rumors he once dismissed as science fiction. Whispers about a species of hunters who moved through the shadows between stars, a species wielding technology far beyond any known civilization. A species no one had ever seen fully, but whose victims were always found. Darius tightened his grip on the metal, a chill stabbing down his spine despite the infernal heat around him. Something was hunting here long before I arrived, he whispered. And if the stories were true, the creature that left these tracks was certainly not the only one on Zertal. A wave of hot wind swept past, carrying a metallic rhythm. Slow, steady, deliberate, not natural. Darius stepped back, raising his weapon, scanning the spires around him. Nothing. But the feeling of being watched sharpened until he could almost point to the exact spot from which the invisible gaze was locked onto him. One thing became clear. Whatever it was, creature, native tribe, or visitor from a distant world, it was evaluating him. Not attacking, only observing. A hunt had begun, and Darius Hale was no longer a researcher. He was now a target in a ritual he didn't understand. The wind shrieked again, this time with something else beneath it. Very faint, very fast, like the click of an unseen device. Darius didn't see anything, but he knew the thing was still here, and it had just changed position.